Gonna rapid fire through some Buck stuff. There's really not a lot to talk about. This team is absolutely amazing and all their weapons are fantastic. But let's take a look at them overall. I gave extra odds here because I do believe that they could be the number one overall seed. The AFC is just so stacked. In the NFC, there's the Bucks and then there's the Rams. And I guess you could make a case for the Cowboys and the Packers if you want to. The win total is 11.5. They won 13 games last year. I see them winning 12 or 13 again this year. They're minus 286 to win the division. So they're the biggest favorites to win a division since we've started previewing teams here. They're plus 333 to win the NFC. To have the best record in the NFL, they're 5-1, I think is appealing as well. And I think they're really good odds here to win the Super Bowl at plus 750. I really do. The squad is still very, very strong. Defensively, they're good. They can get after the quarterback. They got playmakers in the secondary. Tom Brady's back again. 13-4. The only tough games I see on their schedule, Dallas to start the season, which they started last year against Dallas, and they almost lost that game. They ended up winning it. Green Bay, Kansas City, the Rams, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. That's it. That's all I really see as tough games on their schedule. Using the prop shop, I see a couple different win totals here for the Bucks. You can get over 11.5 at plus 100. Other spots have at minus 110. You can get over 12.5 at plus 205, which I think is pretty appealing as well. As we switch over to some of their weapons, offensively, Tom Brady last year led everybody in passing attempts and passing yards and passing touchdowns. He's going as quarterback 8 despite finishing as quarterback 3 last year in fantasy. I think pretty good value for Tom Brady. The thing that we like about the Bucks is it's like pedal to the metal. Nobody really threw more than them in terms of like splits tools that we have over at FTN Daily, FTN Fantasy, pace of play. They played up tempo. They were always passing. No matter if they were up 20 to 30, they were always passing. And that's great for Tom Brady. It's great for Mike Evans, who finishes a top 10 wide receiver, who's had 1,000 yards in every single season of his career. When he entered in 2014, 14 touchdowns last year, 13 touchdowns the year before. That's 27 touchdowns in his last 2 years. He's finished with at least 10 touchdowns in 4 seasons and at least 8 touchdowns in 6 of his 8 seasons. He's just consistent. Chris Godwin going to miss a little bit of time on the pup list, but we're getting value because of that. Russell Gage, more on him in a little bit, and Cameron Brate. Let's actually talk Brate just for a second here. Tight end 25 over the last 4 weeks of NFFC drafts. Look at the red zone target usage. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Cameron Brate. He was the backup tight end last year to Rob Gronkowski. Do not forget about Cameron Brate. You can probably get him with your last pick. Bucks missed the playoffs. No chance, Prince. A lot would have to go wrong for the Buccaneers to miss the playoffs. I would assume it would have to be a Tom Brady injury. There's no chance this team misses the playoffs in that weak NFC conference. Let's go back over to some of their weapons here. Russell Gage is somebody I wanted to talk about quickly here. So wide receiver 38 last year, wide receiver 37 in a full point PPR points per game standpoint. 11.6 points is what he got. He really broke out in 2020. He had 72 grabs, 786 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Last year, he had 66 grabs, 770 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That was through 14 games. Now he's going to an offense where I do believe Brady is good enough, considering how this offense rolls, to be the guy to support 3 or 4 weapons. Leonard Fournette, Evans, Godwin, and Gage. I don't mind where Gage is going. I think he makes for a high upside wide receiver 3 in this offense. And then for Leonard Fournette, I'm in on him. Number 3 in catches among running backs, 3rd in targets, 4th in receiving yards, 1st overall in targets and catches per game among backs last year. He played 14 games. Good offense, red zone guy. Has a history of getting hurt, suffering injuries. That's why I feel like for White, it's a pretty good pick for you as RB45, just to kind of handcuff and get the Buccaneers backfield, because this team will beat up on some very, very weak teams in the NFC.